In this tutorial, I will introduce you to SolidWorks. There are a few things you must pay attention to, and we will cover it in this video one by one. First of all, about SolidWorks, you have to understand that SolidWorks is a virtual prototyping software, which means that instead of saying we are drawing or designing, we are actually building models. SolidWorks helps us in visualizing our geometrical production data in the most realistic way. So it was as if you have the model itself, like you are holding it in your hand. And then there are two things you have to understand. The first one, SolidWorks is also future-based and also history-based. The future-based means that you build the model by creating 2D sketches first, and then after that applying the process or making features to create the 3D shape. SolidWorks is also history-based. That means that on the feature manager panel on the left side of the windows, we can see the order of the features we have been applying towards the part files, and we can also reorder by dragging them up or down the trees. For this aspect, we will see it again later on. The relationship between features can also prevent the reordering. That is also called as the parent-child relationship, and this aspect will also be explained further in the next topic. So to start the SolidWorks, you can simply start the SolidWorks by pressing the Start menu and then find the executable files from your program files. The first interface you see by the time you start the application of SolidWorks is empty. To start making a new file, you have to go to the top bar and start pressing the new file. There are three default files to start with: part file, assembly file, and drawing file. If you haven't started anything with your project, then you should start by making the part file. If you already have certain file that you would like to open, you can go to the menu again, select file, and select open. Or if you would like to open your recent file, select file, and you will find your recent files at the bottom part of the files menu. For example, we'll open this file. Now we will discuss the interface, the navigation, and the settings of the SolidWorks. The first thing you have to know is the command manager. The command manager comprises of Features tab, Sketch tab, and Evaluate tab. And you can also add more tabs as required by the time you are working with SolidWorks. The command manager can be found at the upper area of your window. By default, you should be able to see the Features tab and the Sketch tab. If there are certain tabs that you couldn't see right now from the default view, you can simply right-click at one of the tabs and press check to the tabs you would like to include into the command manager. For example, if I would like to add weldments into my command manager, simply click Weldments, and the Weldments tab will be included in my command manager. If you would like, also at the opposite, you would like to remove one of the tabs, you simply right-click on the command manager and then uncheck the tab you would like to remove. You can also undock the command manager and change its position. To do that, all you have to do is just to left-click and hold the command manager and drag it out from its default position. You can change and dock the command manager to the right side of your graphics window, or you can also change it to the left side of your graphics window. To return it back again to the top area, you have to drag it and select the upper area of the window. If you would like to change few things from all of the things I have explained, that might be adding certain tabs into your command manager. That one will be surfaces and also the render tools. Those two tabs might be useful in the future while you are taking the subject. The second interface you need to know is the feature manager. The feature manager lists all of the features of the part. The most important aspect from feature manager is the display pane and the rollback bar. The feature manager can be found on the left side of your window. This is the feature manager. On the lower part of the panel, you will see the history of your features. At the most bottom of the panel itself, you will see the rollback bar. If you drag the rollback bar upward, for example like this, you will be able to see the history of the features step by step. The menu bar can be found at the upper area of the window. Use the fly out button over here and you will be able to see all the menu bar, starting from the file menu, edit menu, view menu, insert menu, and so on. If you need to always display the menu bar, you can use the pin button over here on the right side and then press it. This way, the view of the menu bar will be freeze on its state. At the upper area of your graphics window, you will see the heads-up view toolbar, starting from zoom to fit, zoom to area, previous view, section view, and then orientation, part state, sketches function, and many other menus. Hiding on your right side, you will see the task pane. If you press one of this button, you will be able to see the tab for SolidWorks resources, how to get started with the documents, about the community, and so on. On the next tab, you will see the design library and also the file explorer. The most important part is the appearances, scenes, and decals that you will be using or where it will be applied to your part. The last part is for the custom properties, but most of the time you will not be needing to use this one. If you insist to see the task pane, you can always press the pin button. If you would like to hide it, make sure that it is not pinned to your graphic windows. And to hide it back again, just simply left click in any other empty space on the graphics window like this. Then it will be hidden again. The mouse gesture donut can be accessed by simply holding the right click button of your mouse and drag it either to the top, to the bottom, left, or right. So if you are, for example, not in the state of sketching, the mouse gesture will bring you to the perspective of the part. For example, if I right click and hold it and then move it upward, selecting the top view, then the perspective of your part will be brought to the top view. If, for example, you are in a sketch mode and you are holding the right click button and showing up the mouse gesture donut will be changed into certain functions in sketch interface. So it really depends on which state you are working at. Now let's talk about workspace navigation while we are working with SolidWorks. I strongly recommend the use of a mouse with scroll wheel. That's because for the following functions, such as zoom in, zoom out, rotate, roll, and so on, you will heavily depend on the use of the scroll wheel of a mouse. We will discuss about this function one by one. The first one is the zoom in or out. To zoom in or out from the graphics windows, you can simply scroll your wheel forward or backward. To rotate your object, all you have to do is just to click and hold the scroll mouse button and move your mouse. To roll your object, press Alt button from your keyboard and then click the scroll wheel and hold it and move your mouse. To pan the view, you have to press the control button from your keyboard and click the scroll wheel button and move it left, right, upward, or downward. To change the orientation of your part, press spacebar from your keyboard and view orientation will be provided to you, starting from the front, back, left, right, top, and all default views. You can also select isometric, trimetric, and dimetric. For example, if you would like to see your object in isometric perspective, double-click the isometric, and the view will be changed to isometric perspective. There are a few important settings you have to review before you start. You can go and find the Options menu on the top area of your window. Left-click this icon and the System Options, and all the Options menu will be brought to you. There are two tabs. The first one is the System Options. The second one is the Document Properties. One of the important settings from the System Options tab is the Relation Snaps setting. You can find it from the System Options tab and go below to the Relation Snaps. Here you can enable and disable snapping of your drawing. I recommend for you to leave the snap to be enabled for your drawing. The second settings you have to see is the Document Properties. There are three things you should check from the Document Properties tab. The first one is the Drafting Standard. The Drafting Standard should be set to ANSI in our case, because we would like to see our part drawn in the third angle projection. If you are selecting any other standard other than ANSI, I recommend you to change it. The second thing you have to check is the grid setting. If you feel more comfortable in drawing with grid, you can always display the grid and change the spacing of the grid itself here. I recommend you to turn off the display grid because we already enabled the snapping function from the System Options. The last one you should check is the unit system you are using. From the unit setting, there will be 5 default unit systems. For our subject, most of the time we will either use the millimeter gram second or the inch pound second. If you have finished changing the systems according to what you need, you can press OK and the Options menu will be closed for you. Again, if this is your first time, I wouldn't recommend the customization, so I recommend you to leave everything at the default settings. That is all for the current brief tutorial. If you have further questions, you can send it to my email over here, or you can also send it to my WhatsApp at this number. Thank you.